Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome to another monthly update for my portfolio here at Snackable Wealth. I hope you all had a great holiday season and are ready to get back into the grind. I'm definitely not ready to get back into the grind, but that is life. So for December, honestly, the markets were a little bit flat. I thought that they were going to give us a little bit of a Santa rally. However, I still did manage to make about $8,000 for the month. So jumping into the tax-free savings account, we do have a loss here. So $373.57 is our loss for the month. As I said, the month was fairly flat in terms of just the general market overall, which I don't think anyone can complain about because we did have a great 2025. So the TFSA went nowhere. That's fine. If we jump over to my RRSP here, we do have another loss. Now, this loss is even greater, and the reason for that is probably due to my bond component. So the loss we're showing is $459.70. So the main reason I was able to still pull a profit is, of course, from the non-registered account. So that's where I do all my trading. We'll take a quick deep dive into that here. So moving over to that account, we have a profit of $9,076.58. So I stated in my last monthly update that I was, selling my calls as I always do on SPY, and I was dabbling into oil. Nothing has changed. I'm still doing that to this day. So I'm still selling covered calls on the S&P 500 using the SPY ETF, and I am still long oil. And I'm long oil using the ETF USO. As well as doing some activity in my futures account, but that's completely separate from this account here. In this non-registered account, I am only long oil through USO. And in addition to that, I am selling calls on my USO position. So that is the reason I was able to generate a return for the whole entire month. Basically, all the returns came from my trading and not really from the market. Let's jump over to crypto. And the reason I'm going so fast here is because, December was quite a dead month. I want to talk about future looking things. I don't really want to talk about the flat month that we've had. So let's get through the numbers here. On to crypto. I did let you guys know that I was going to be adding some more of my own funds to this account. And you can see on this chart here with the dotted line that I did actually add some of my own money to crypto. So for the month, it was flat. We've got a $22 gain. It's basically nothing. But I did actually manage to add some of my own money. And I was typically trying to buy around the $86,000 to $87,000 range. I felt like Bitcoin had sort of a lull, anywhere between 85 and 90. We were kind of going back and forth for a little bit there. So I did try to pick some up around the 86 to 87 range if I was lucky. I believe I purchased one time at 89 as well. So once again, it was a slow month, and that's okay. Especially going into the holidays, I would rather have a slow and flat month, than anything drastic start happening. So my forward-looking statements, by the time you're going to get this video, because of holidays, I've just been busy, as I'm sure most of you were. You might be getting this halfway through the month, but I don't think that we're going to see anything significant happen for the first couple months of the year. Really, what I'd be looking for is some of the AI earnings that would be coming out a little bit later. But for the first month or so, I don't see anything significant happening. I think that the market is going to keep chugging along. I'm not expecting any huge gains, but I'm not expecting the market to go down. So if the market just kept slowly going up throughout the month of January, that's my base case. And I'm going to continue to play it that way. So I'm going to keep selling my SPY calls and just keep riding it out. I'm going to keep adding money to the account and keep pushing forward. With that being said, though, I do think that things could get a little rocky depending on a few things. So one of those things being what I just touched on is earnings from AI companies. The other thing is unemployment and interest rates. Now, I think that the unemployment has started to sort of, it seems anyways, not be getting worse. And it looks like Trump is really set on having the rates lowered and continue to be kept low in the US. So, I don't see any issue with that really, other than keeping those rates lower than they should be is just going to fuel inflation. Now, I did make a video on gold a few months ago, and I was quite surprised at how, fast gold has gone up. Looking back as well, silver has been on a tear, and it's pretty clear to me that the markets are pricing in heavy inflation going forward. And that's something that I didn't quite see back when I made that gold video a few months ago. But now we have seen that, yes, back in the beginning of the month here in December, the US has started printing money again. We know Trump wants rates to be kept low. So these are all things that are going to continue to fuel inflation going forward and devalue that US dollar and basically, fiat currencies across the globe as pretty much everyone follows suit, right? So I'm definitely surprised by the price of gold. I have not added to any of my gold position, but I have not sold any of it. I believe when I made my video on gold, I was a little bit skeptical about how high it could go. And I still feel the same way. If there is any sort of change in terms of inflation or anything like that, I think that, gold is going to end up going nowhere or going to go down. It's had such a huge run. Maybe it hits 5,000, but at some point it's got to level out. So, as I said, I'm not selling my gold position. I am keeping it. I am keeping my physical gold as well. I'm just not adding at this point in time because I'm sitting at the asset allocation that I need for myself. So I generally like to keep around 3 to 5% of my portfolio sitting in gold, and I don't want any more than that. At the end of the day, gold is a non-productive asset, so it is going to go up when there are, crashes in the market. It is going to go up when there is currency devaluation, but over the long term, it does usually tend to underperform equity assets like stocks. So I have not been adding. In terms of other forward-looking statements, obviously I am bullish on oil. I continue to be bullish on oil for no other reason than some of the reasons I've mentioned is I just think it's cheap. It's cheap. I think the economy is still moving. And I don't really see any reason for us to go to a sub $50 WTI price. So I'm just kind of capitalizing on that. I'm hoping that the oil price stays relatively flat. I mean, the longer that it stays flat, the more I can continue to roll my options and keep collecting premiums. So right now, I do actually have my options rolled out to the beginning of February. So I will be looking at rolling them further if I can, but we'll have to see, sort of what develops over the next few weeks to a month. I try to keep those options within somewhat of a close range. So I don't like to go more than 3 weeks out. So we'll see. We'll see what kind of premiums I can get. But definitely, I like oil staying flat. It just makes it easy to collect premiums, and that way the price doesn't run away from me. If it runs away from me, then I'll think that it's no longer a good deal. I won't be able to get any premiums on those options, and I will probably just end up closing out the position altogether, and I'll have to find new ways to make money. So I'm hoping it just stays flat. Other than that, I think there's not too much more to say. I think we are going to have to wait for the first couple months or so of the year before we start to see a sort of dynamic. We know that the Fed, Jerome Powell, he's going to be kicked out. I think his replacement's going to come back in May. So whoever they decide, or Trump ends up getting in replace of Jerome Powell, that is going to make a difference, especially on those interest rates that I was talking about. But until that time, I'm really just going with the flow. I don't see any catalyst for a crash. I think we're just going to chug along here. Maybe we can pick up a few more percentage points before anything drastic starts to happen. But it will not surprise me if we start to get some volatility in the markets later on this year. The markets just simply cannot go up forever. At some point in time, people are going to take profits. There are going to be political issues. There are going to be some more concerning economic issues. So, just be prepared for that. As I said, I don't think it's going to happen in the short term, but at some point in the year, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a little bit of volatility there. So just be prepared. I think I'm going to end the video here. I am going to get some more videos up for you guys. I just have been really busy the past couple of months, and I do apologize. I know I've said before I was going to get some videos out, but they will be coming. So thank you for bearing with me and just watching the monthly updates. I am going to try to get some more educational videos out to you guys and some more interesting content than just watching my portfolio go up every month. So thank you for sticking around, and I appreciate all of you who like the videos, who comment and subscribe. So until next time, thank you for watching Snackable Wealth, and I'll see you in the next one.